Well, do you guys smell what Kershaw is cooking with the USA-made Magna Cut Steel Bel Air? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another blade review here at Gideonstactical. I'm Aaron, hanging out with you guys today on a Tabletop Tuesday, where we are going to unpack this brand new 2024 model from Kershaw by highlighting 3 reasons this knife might not be for you. And we're going to explore those reasons by running in a few options here. The first being the Benchmade Bug Out series. This is the mini Bug Out. I'm going to lay that sucker right there. And we'll start off with the Gerber Assert as well, also made here in the USA. Crossbar locks, both, and very similar in sizing. Now, the first reason the Kershaw Bel Air may not be the right blade for you is weight. You care first and foremost about how lightweight you can get your pocket knife in this size range. If it could weigh as much as a duck fart, that's the model you would take. Well, the Kershaw Bel Air is going to come in about 2.9 ounces. So it's heavier than these two models. The Gerber usually is like 1.9. I think the Bug Out series is like 1.8 ounces. So it's going to be an ounce heavier than the competitive models. Now, the second reason the Kershaw may not be the right choice for you is you like to express yourself. You want a cornucopia of options in your pocket knife design. Well, both the Bug Out and the Assert are going to give you that. You have so many size as well as color variants on handle scales, options, aftermarket stuff on the Bug Out series. And Gerber has their custom shop. I think Benchmade does too. But they have a custom shop. They got several color combinations to choose from. And you can even choose between a thumb stud and the location of the thumb stud, or remove it and have a thumb slit. So there is a variety of options, where currently in 2024 at the launch, there's one variant here on the Bel Air. You're going to get those aluminum handle scales that have been Cerakoted, and they call this bright nickel is that coating, and then you're going to get the black wash blade coating, and currently that's all you got to choose from. And now finally to number 3, and probably the most viable reason why the Bel Air may not be the right blade for you, is that you already own the Kershaw Iridium right here, and you focus more on just functionality, and country of origin and blade steel is not your #1 priority. You care more about ergonomics, just how does the blade overall perform. You don't mind honing edges as much, and you're like, I don't really care where the knife comes from as long as it functions. The Iridium series is going to give you a lot of similar form and function and feel to what you get with the Bel Air. Aluminum handle scales, ambidextrous loop over pocket clip, ambidextrous loop over pocket clip. We'll get into that in just a moment. KVT ball bearings, Duralock. So there is a lot of similarity there, especially now that they have a reverse Tanto coming out. You're even going to get a similar blade shape to what the Bel Air has on the Iridium series, and you're going to get a little bit more handle real estate. So for some people, just functionality and on a budget, price point, the Iridium series is nothing to balk at. Now, with that said, there is a plethora of reasons why this new Bel Air is freaking smoking and super spicy and an excellent competitive option compared to lots of American-made crossbar locks. And I feel like first and foremost is value. With so many new designs that are released that are manufactured in America or Europe, tending to be really quite pricey, this is hitting, I believe, an excellent value, coming in at about $155 to $165, depending on where you pick it up. Now, these sold out within a day, so I'm sure there's going to be restocks coming real soon, so just pay attention, get on email lists, get on alerts. The cheapest I saw this at $155 was at GP Knives, and then Smoky Mountain Knife Works was right around the same, and then followed up by Blade HQ was like $165. So I'll have links to all the affiliate networks I regularly partner with below. And when we look at that compared to these two models I've been touching on, the mini bailout is like $152, and that's got S30V steel and ultralight polymer handles. And if we look at the Gerber Assert, and you look at that, S30V steel as well, like $175 with polymer handle scales, ambidextrous, all that stuff. And what I like a lot is that the Bel Air is crossing in between these mini kind of designs and isn't quite as big as the full-size Bug Out. Coming in at 3 inches overall blade length with like 2.75, maybe 2.8 on the actual cutting edge. Full flat grind, 0.09 on that MagnaCut steel means that this freaking parts through material like Moses cutting through the Red Sea. I mean, this thing just like, and it is effortless to remove and disembowel whatever package you may be opening, cardboard you're going through, you know, a lime that you're slicing, some cucumber, you know, like whatever you're doing with this thing, cordage, it is bananas. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, are probably wondering, like, what's the Rockwell? What's this MagnaCut at? As MagnaCut becomes more and more popular, more and more available. Well, Kershaw has on their website stating Rockwell of 60 to 63, which is what is recommended most of the time. That's kind of a wide margin, you know, maybe like 62 to 63 would probably be like a little bit more ideal, particularly for this type of a knife. I'm seeing excellent wear resistance. Definitely going to outperform your S30Vs on most fronts, particularly in toughness. Almost twice as tough as S30V steel, and still giving you excellent, excellent rust resistance. So the smoke wash, you know, black wash coating is not needed. It is wearing just a little bit, you can see there, but I like it. I have zero complaints with that. And a reverse tanto, gradual, very precise tip. Don't be treating this like a screwdriver, but it'll pierce very nicely. And MagnaCut, I have found now using it more and more frequently, is not that difficult to hone. So when you do get it to dull on you, and it's not M390. M390 and like 20 CV steel, which is basically identical, you know, is gonna take more effort to resharpen, but they'll hold its edge longer than MagnaCut. It's really the durability side where MagnaCut is going to outperform those type of steels and most stainless steels. Not all, but most stainless steels in this, while still matching. You know, so it's going to hold up really well and give you a great performance factor. Leave a comment below if you already own MagnaCut. How has it performing for you? So I think Kershaw has done an excellent job with their Rockwell and the heat treat and everything. Seems to be holding up to most other MagnaCut I have been using so far. So performance side of the blade is excellent and zero complaints. Now, there is one issue that I have found with this that I got to highlight. It's a super, super easy fix. There it is. Maybe mine worked itself out. Let's see. Come on. I got to do it that one time. I'm messing around with it here. There it is. I can kind of hear it every once in a while. I don't know if the mic's going to pick it up. It's kind of squeaky. The action, though, super smooth on those KVT ball bearings. Excellent size bar there with a good size for the type of knife. Stop bar. There was a squeaking that I would sometimes get, and I believe it was the Duralock bar rubbing on the back spine of the blade. So with a little bit of lubricant, that should easily go away, but it was kind of weird. You know, it sounded like mild nails on a chalkboard, like every 5th deployment, but maybe it's already worked itself out. I've had this now for about 2 weeks, used it a ton. Maybe every once in a while you might be able to hear it. Anyway, that was really the only issue that I could discover with it. Was a little squeaky to me, but other than that, you're getting actually really good lockup, up and down, no wiggle. I mean, there's a slight pivot play, but I mean, that's going to be on all of these knives. I mean, we're going to see the exact same thing from that bailout. Look at that thing just wobbling all over the place. So there's a slight, which is what you just get with ball bearings in general. So other than that, though, the thumb studs are excellent, really cool, easy to engage with these crossbars. Now, they're almost recessed to they're not recessed, but you know what I mean. They're pretty shallow there, but that matches kind of with most other companies that are going to be doing that right there in this size range. Actually, the Gerber has ones that protrude a little bit more. You know, so with gloves, maybe every once in a while you might miss that, but the action is amazing and just like, I don't know, ice skates, skis up, open and closed there, and great action. I haven't had any rebounding, you know, where it hits the bar and then you're not able to stop bar and then you're not able to catch it in time. So no rebounds or anything like that. No pivots loosening up or anything like that. Now, as we move to the handle, now I know when I posted up the first thing, and I appreciate you guys always leaving comments. Your comments really do help me understand what you guys are looking for. It gives me data. The Cerakoted aluminum handle scales with this very interesting color. It's not white and it's not like copper. It's like a mix almost between the two. It's very cool. I like it. I have zero complaints with it. Good chamfering on either side with flat sides. Whereas with the Iridium, you are going to get a slight doming effect on those aluminum handle scales. It's kind of minute, but you're going to notice that the handle scales kind of ever so slightly dome, whereas these seem to be, from what I look at, just completely flat and then chamfered on each side, meaning that there's no hot spots or sharpness. But I know some of you stated that you way prefer like G10 scales over aluminum. Leave a comment below. Do you prefer like textured scales like these polymer ones or G10 over aluminum? Leave a comment below. I am sure Kershaw is going to be seeing this video and we'll make note of that. And it'd be great to have an option with G10, I think, some cool patterns or something inlaid with carbon fiber at some point, I think would be pretty sweet as well. But for aluminum, I have zero issues. And for this style of knife, it's a light duty EDC. I'm not going hiking with this thing. You know, I'm not going to go to like my oil rig location and do some roughneck in there for a few days with this pocket knife. This is for the company man sitting in the truck. You know, this is for the foreman on the job site. And this is for you, if you are doing one of those rougher jobs, to carry after you're carrying that big heavy blade all day, you're carrying your freaking ZT or something, to throw that in and then go out to dinner with your significant other. You know, that's what this knife is designed for. So good traction though, fills out my hand just nice enough right there, zero issues. And again, going to be just a little bit bigger than these mini sizes, but just a hair smaller than like the bug out. Good thickness at 0.44, and we do have stainless steel liners that have not been milled. So these liners in here have not been milled out with standoffs that are kind of like a brown, looks like to me. Yeah, like a brown kind of standoff right there, flow through construction. So they could have probably gotten the 2.5 ounces, I bet, if they had milled out the scales. Not an issue, again, under 3 ounces for this knife, and it definitely does feel really light in the hand. You get a little hit of jimping up front, right there, not sharp at all, gives you a little bit to grab onto though, and then you get a little hit back there that again doesn't create any hot spots for me. Now, ambidextrous pocket clip. Now, Kershaw can do it. We had some models, they're auto knives that I was not impressed with those pocket clips. This is excellent and better than the Iridium. Blacked out, superb, ultra deep ride, so it's actually above. This reminds me of like an old SOG back in the day, but rounded, really good durability. It's not a thin metal at all, and recessed screws and a good spacing right there. And the lip is not insanely high or sharp. It's been rounded and contoured, so it's not quite as crazy. It's close in the like protrusion of the lip as on the Iridium, but the Iridium is not only going to ride a little bit higher, which is not the end of the world, but it has a more abrupt angling there, and they just have really kind of, this pocket clip needs to, if they're gonna do loop over deep ride pocket clips, they need to do this model and update like their entire line. Kershaw, update your entire line with this pocket clip. It's one of the better ones you guys have. Awesome and excellent, really well done, and then of course you can flip that to the other side. Now, as I bring this to the close, I know there's one other knife, probably a lot of you have already commented below and said, well, what about the Hogue Deka? And that is a great question. I do appreciate Kershaw hooking me up with this model before release so I could get a good feel for it, see if there was any negatives, pros, cons, help you guys determine how it stacks up to other blades like these Benchmade and Gerber particularly. And for the value compared to these, I mean, S30V versus MagnaCut, I'll take MagnaCut all day long. And then the type of aluminum for this, how small these are, to polymers, I kind of gravitate more to aluminum. That's just me. For the size range, when I get bigger, again, I prefer like heavier texture, you know, those type of things. So, and this is going to be the same cost or cheaper than either of these models with better steel made in America. So, with that, but what about the Hogue Deka? Now, you can get the MagnaCut version of the Hogue Deka with polymer handle scales for like $140, so $15 cheaper. So that is something to consider. The difference is, I've had this for about 2 weeks now, and it hasn't bit me. The Deka bit me like almost on day one. The way it's designed, when you pull the bar back and then whip the blade in, the tip nicked me, and this one has not even come close, and I don't even know where it could even come. It's like half an inch away from my palm there. The way the Deka is designed, the sweep would engage with your palm, and so I dumped that blade pretty quick, and it was almost a non-starter for me. So the fact that this won't bite me, and that it's within 15 bucks, and has the aluminum scale versus the polymer, which, you know, pros and cons to both, makes it, again, just so competitive and extremely competitive. And one of the very few knives hitting that price point with these materials made in America so far for 2024. I'm sure more are going to be coming from different competitors. So hopefully we'll see that. But I believe Kershaw has really kicked it up a notch, cranked it to 11 with this design. Leave a comment below. Let me know your guys' thoughts, particularly if you scored one of these or you have one. How has it been performing for you? Do you like the Bel Air? Pros and cons. Always appreciate you guys' feedback. Check out the other video popping up. I do invite you to subscribe. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.